unmute, and now I'm going to mute it.
Pat, I just wanted to check in. Are we good to go?
Yep, all set.
Pat, I just wanted to check in. Are we good to go?
Very good. Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg Snoddy. I'm the Dean of Students here at WPI. And welcome to our Student Affairs Division Living in a Caring Community session for part of NSO. We understand our audience is incoming first-year students as well as parents, and welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so excited to welcome you here, and actually can't wait for our students to be back on campus. We have RAs here now. We have CAs, community advisors here now also. All students who are designed to help you integrate more so into the academic and social environment at WPI. But it'll be so much better when we have the campus immersed in the many, many students that we have at WPI from all over the world. So again, welcome and welcome, welcome, welcome. So as I mentioned, my name is Greg Snoddy, and today's session is actually, it's going to last about 60 minutes. We are going to be doing our very best to answer questions in the chat as we can, but we're also going to be sharing with you a lot of content from the different areas of student affairs at WPI. And so we understand that normally we prefer to do this in person, but that's harder to do these days. So we're going to do it online. And then if we have a chance to see you when you move in, we welcome that opportunity. If we can move to the next slide, please. So brief overview of the Dean of Students Office. So the Dean of Students Office consists of Emily Perlow, who's also on our call, Bernice Lisk, who is our administrative assistant and executive assistant in our office and is the person who will pick up the phone mostly if you ever have the opportunity to call to our office here in the Rubin Campus Center. Our job within the Dean of Students Office is to oversee the comprehensive out-of-class experience for students, and parents are also our partners in this. So we welcome opportunities to interact with you. We oversee all the different areas of the out-of-class experience. So many of those divisions and departments you'll hear about today on this call. But the areas that we really focus on here in our office is the care team, which is a group of broad-based administrators from across the university who are really our catch-all for students who might be having a difficulty in academics and social interactions. It's almost like our safety net. We want to reach out to those students and help them be successful. And we meet weekly on that to essentially talk about how can we help students integrate more fully and be more successful at WPI. But another core construct of who we have emergency assistance funding. And that actually originated this past spring semester when we found that a lot of students were having trouble due to the economic climate with paying their bills, paying their monthly lease, buying food to live on, but they were still a student here. So we went out with our partners in alumni affairs and development and solicited funding from alumni and friends really to help offset some of those costs for students. So if students have an emergency need, we have money available that we can give them for that in partnership with financial aid also. Can we do anything with their package and with their loans? Community development is really helping our students integrate into the broader WPI community, but coupled with the Worcester area community. That could be community service initiatives. It could be just how to be a successful person here on this campus and integrating in with student affairs, student services, student organizations, getting out about from your residence hall room. Student rights and responsibilities is making sure that students comply with our expectations of behavior on campus, both on campus and off campus. The students have rights, but the students also have responsibilities as part of our community. Every one of our students have that responsibility, and that's really important. And then lastly, just so that students and parents are aware of this, we have in place an after-hours call system from the Dean of Students Office that is designed to work from 5 p.m. on Friday night until 8 a.m. the next Friday. If something happens at 2 a.m. and a student has a pain in their side because maybe they're having, so let's just take an appendicitis issue. We want to know about that so that we can interact with that student. And so campus police a lot of times will call us and we'll be aware of that so we can work with that student if they can't be in class the next day or the next couple days perhaps, to make sure that their faculty are aware of that. There's a valid excuse for why they're not in class. They're not oversleeping. There's an actual reason why they're not in class. So all those roles and responsibilities, as well as many other, including this thing called COVID-19, are certainly things that are encompassing much of our time these days. So in the Dean of Students office, we oversee all these different areas, including the areas that we're going to be talking about here in a couple minutes. Let me now flip to the next slide and introduce you to Christine Sherry. Christine is our Director of Student Activities here at WPI. She's going to talk to you about student activities, but probably also this thing called New Student Orientation, which is occurring very soon also. Christine?
Thanks, Greg, and welcome everyone. We are so excited to have students joining us both remotely and to have students back on campus. It really does bring a different feel to the university and also to our work. So in student activities, we work to support, as all of my colleagues do on this call, life outside the classroom. And so for us specifically, we're working with over 230 recognized student organizations on campus. That ranges everything from the Goat Cheese, the Cheese Club, to the Rubik's Cube Club, to our student government. We have performing arts groups, a wide variety of opportunities for students to both explore new passions, current interests, and also just have some fun and to release some stress, because that's so important. And we actually really encourage students to get involved when they start their time at WPI. Research shows that students who are involved outside of the classroom have better time management skills, feel a better sense of connection to the institution, are able to manage their time, and also it's a great opportunity to highlight on their resume some of the leadership experiences that they've had while they've been a student. So getting involved is really important from day one. We don't encourage students to get involved in 10 clubs, but 1 or 2 is certainly reasonable and doable for many students. We also support different types of leadership development programming, workshops, luncheons. We have a certificate series for students. All of these programs are going to be delivered both virtually, and there will be some in-person programs for students. But we are trying to make sure that we're being inclusive of students who may be remote, but also to be able to allow as many students as possible to participate. We also have TechSync. TechSync is a software program that all students have access to. It gives them the ability to search for all of our clubs and organizations, to look for events that are taking place on campus, and is a database and a program for us to communicate with all of our student leaders for all of these organizations. We actually are going to be having a virtual student activities fair on Friday, September 4th from 3 to 5. So students are going to be able to log into TechSync, create their profile, and then begin engaging with our clubs and organizations who are participating in the fair. This is a great opportunity for them to get to meet all of these student leaders, to find out when the clubs are meeting, what types of events and programs they have. So we really are going to encourage all first-year students and all students in general to participate in this program. For weekend trips, we aren't traveling right now, but our office does want to encourage students to explore Worcester once we're able to. It's really important for students to feel connected to their community, both on campus and locally. And so we also work with large campus programs. Like Greg mentioned, New Student Orientation. I'm happy to answer questions about that program. Students should have received an email from me today with more information and updates. And also work with programs like Family Weekend, where we usually are welcoming our families in our to campus to experience life with their student. That is going to be reimagined for this year, and we will be exploring opportunities in the spring as well. So I have found that most students do get involved. We like to make sure that there's plenty for them to do, but I think it really speaks to the level of our students. When I started WPI over 13 years ago, we had 130 clubs, and now we're at 230. So that does give you kind of a small window into how engaged our students are. And it's just really wonderful to see. So with that, I'm going to pass the microphone over to my colleague, Colleen Callahan Pandey, who's the Director of International Student Life.
Hello, thank you, Christine. Let me start my video. There we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Colleen Callahan Pandey. I'm the Director of the Office of International Student Life, but we're also lovingly known as the International House, which is the building right there. It's a green building on campus. We work with all of the international students that are on an F1 and J1 student visa. We also work with students that are sometimes American students that live abroad and still feel that connection to international feeling. As you can imagine, with all of the things that have happened in the past few months, we've been in regular contact with a lot of our students to make sure that they can help make decisions about what they should do, that they have the most up-to-date government information that's coming out. So our program is essentially twofold. We work with government compliance for immigration regulations and making sure that students' paperwork is done properly, that we are in compliance with everything, that the students understand all of the responsibilities they have with maintaining their immigration status. But we also work on cultural adjustment and cross-cultural advising. We often work hand in hand with the Career Development Center, which you'll hear from in a little while, to help students that have that immigration piece, but they're also job searching and how that works together. So if you are joining us with an international student that maybe either in person or abroad this fall semester, we're working with students that are in both capacities. Hopefully your student has joined us for some of the programming we've already had since the beginning of August. If they have any questions, I know there's a lot of logistics that are challenging this fall with getting visas, getting flights, getting to the United States. Feel free to reach out to our office. The best way to contact us is through the ih@wpi.edu mailbox. We also have virtual walk-in hours. I know I said down here that the virtual walk-in can be found on the Meet the Team page. If you go to our Meet the Team page and you look at an individual advisor's calendar link, the Zoom link for our walk-in hours is listed there. We also have sorry about that, work from home, little kids in the background. We also have the walk-in hours are going to be starting every day, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. But right now they're just on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we have one actually that's happening right now from 3 to 4 p.m. So that's another way you can connect with us before you arrive. And I'm going to pass this over to my colleague, Donna Harmon, who is the Director of Physical Education, Recreation, and Athletics at WPI.
Good afternoon, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you. As my colleagues have said previously, we're looking forward to really having everyone back on campus and/or working with you remotely, whatever choice you did need to make for yourself and your family. If I could have my slide, that would be, there we go. So again, I'm the Director of Physical Education, Recreation, and Athletics, 3 separate areas. I've just completed my 18th year and going to begin a year like no other. And it's been a great challenge to figure things out in order to make sure that you students have the best opportunity you can in this new normal world of ours. So I'll break it down into the 3 parts. Physical education. This is a graduation requirement. Please make sure you take care of this. Do not wait for this. Do not wait to schedule a class your senior year. Please start taking them now. Normally we have over 130 PE courses. This year we really had to narrow some things down in order to provide a really robust experience remotely, as well as trying to meet Mass State guidelines for the limitations of in-person classes. So if you have not signed up for a course, please do. Please take care of them. You can do 1 a year, but you do have to have 4. There has not been one person from WPI who has not completed their physical education requirement. So please make sure that you take care of that now. Recreation, as Christine Sherry talked about, the explosion of student clubs and organizations, that has also happened with club sports. Our WPI students are very active, want to be active, and want to be involved and engaged in sport. And that can range from ballroom dance to cricket to soccer to cycling. And our students lead those areas. They are the leadership. And in this new world, we're going to be working with them to providing some of that experience online, but also in limited ability in person, just because of, again, Mass state guidelines on how we're supposed to allow people to gather and do physical activity. Even if that club, because again, it's decided by the students in the club, if they decide to go remote, it still will be an active experience for them. That will be great connections with other students on campus. And one of the best ways to connect under a shared interest while also earning PE credit. So that's another fun way to get it done. Regarding our varsity athletics program, we have 18 varsity sports, and we're a very, very good athletic program. We just won on the men's side our conference. Our women have been tops in the top 3 this past year. We are known not only locally, regionally, but nationally. We have a great group of coaches that are good people who really understand what it will take for your student to succeed here as a student athlete at WPI. Our GPAs are all over 3.24 for all of our teams. We graduate at a higher rate than the general student population. And we do a lot of great community work in helping local area youth, Worcester youth, to really improve their lives and be connected with them and be connected with college students. So we're very proud of our athletic program and how well it represents the best of WPI, not only in the classroom, but in competition and also in the community. We have some of the best facilities around, indoors and outdoors, and we're very, very proud of them and what and how it has served our students. Again, under COVID guidelines, there's going to be some restrictions with masks and 14 feet and a reservation system, but my staff has been working tirelessly to make it as good of an experience as we possibly can in this new normal. I see that there's a lot of questions popping up here, so I'll try and get to those when my turn is done here shortly. But if you have any questions after this, in any of these areas, please feel free to reach out to us in athletics@wpi.edu. I'm going to pass this over now to my colleague, Casey Wall, who's the Assistant Dean of Students and Director of Residential Services. Thank you for the time today.
Thanks, Donna. If you could go to the next slide. Great, thank you. So as Donna mentioned, my name is Casey Wall. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I work in residential services. We are very excited to be welcoming your students to our campus next week. My team has been working tirelessly to plan for move-in, and we're really glad that it's finally here. And to be honest, to move on to working with your students in a different capacity, which is what I'm going to spend my time here talking a little bit more about post move-in, the support and offerings of residential services. So our office is located in East Hall, which is one of the residence halls on campus. Our contact information is there at the top. And we really offer a lot of out of classroom experience for students, much like all of my colleagues that have spoken thus far. And so what we do is really working on that education and development in their living environment. And we have resident advisors, community directors, and then the residential services office team that all work in concert and are an integral part of making that development and education happen. Each student has their own resident advisor, or as we call them, RAs, and they live on the floor with them. And through that experience, they'll have a lot of one-on-one connection and conversations. Given our current climate right now, those will likely be on Zoom, or at least through a face covering. And our RA staff is here training right now, as Dean Snoddy mentioned. The RA staff is their students' contact and sort of first line of assistance when it comes to anything related to their housing. So they'll work with them on interpersonal support, roommate conflicts if they're having some concerns, and do individual outreach and resource support. And so they serve as that sort of connection to the network of WPI. And so if your student needs help with academic advising, but they're not sure who to ask, or they're trying to find a tutor in a topic, or they are having a little bit of trouble when it comes to their personal identity, or they're really struggling in a class, or whatever it might be, the RAs can help find them the right resources and point them in the right direction, as well as help them find physically where that place is on campus. The community directors supervise the RA staff. The community directors are master level professionals who work and live on campus. And so they're right in the heart of the community. They're responsible for varying parts of campus and campus living, and will work with students if the RA is not able to assist in helping in all the same ways, but at a little bit of a higher level. The community directors also do a little bit with student conduct, which I'll talk about in a second, and are really another line of support for your student. And so often if you are concerned as a parent or you're concerned as a student and you're not sure who to turn to, I suggest like getting to know who your community director is and reaching out. You can call the number at the top there and be connected with them. We are also facilities interface. So we work very closely with our facilities team here on campus, specifically around the residence halls. So if there's something not right in the student room, we ask that student to please connect with their RA, and their RA can help to put in a work order. A lot of times it's the physical room. So like windows, the door, the walls, electrical outlets, something like that, that just isn't working right or seems a little off, we can do that work order. If it's something with furniture or IT or NetOps issues, there's different connections there, but the RA again is that conduit to help set up getting that things repaired. In the office with our office team, we have several folk who are in the office that are not the community directors, and their roles are really to supervise the community directors, as Matt Foster is our associate director. And then we have Amy Beth Lathe, Teresa Giard, and Mitchell Dumke, who really do a lot of the operations pieces for our office and really work with that facilities team that I just spoke about. Another thing our office does related to facilities is regarding keys. And so at move-in in particular, you'll get a room key. And if you're a student, or if you are a student or you're a parent of a student and you lose that key, we do ask that you report that immediately, and we will process a lock change. This is a way to keep safety and security on campus, and so we want to make sure that we are reporting those in a timely fashion. Again, that can be done through the RA, a work order can be put in, and that lock change will be processed. The last thing I'll speak about is residence hall policy and student code of conduct enforcement. And so the residential services team plays a role in that in conjunction with the Dean of Students office, as you heard Dean Snoddy speak about. And so specifically around things with COVID this year, there will be some more enforcement that they did not have to enforce last year. Things like face coverings, things like how many people are in a bathroom at a time, and things like making sure we're keeping socially distant. So we're going to have that added into what they're going through and working with their students on. In particular, something I'd like to say to all students that are out there listening to us right now is we're going to ask that once you've moved in and you're in your room, if someone knocks on the door, because they're coming to see you, or they're maybe there for a work order, or whatever the reason that person's at the door, we ask that you put on your face covering before you open the door, so that as you're greeting that person, you have a face covering on as well as them. And because you might have someone next door knocking on the door to say, hey, I'm going to walk to class. Do you want to walk to class together? You should have that face covering on right before you open that door. We'll talk more about that once you do get here. And so we do have RAs on duty for the campus each night of the academic year. And we also have a community director on call, and they support the RA staff along with our campus police and our professional staff, as well as our Dean of Students on call rotation. So that's just a little bit about the residential services office and sort of what we do outside of move-in, because you've probably heard from us quite a bit about move-in. The last thing I'll say is we did send out a message this afternoon, which is our final pre-arrival communication. It has a lot of detail in it about move-in and what to expect when you get here. We ask that you please read that in full. There's a lot of information in there that will be really helpful. And certainly I'll answer some of the questions that are in the chat. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Charlie Morris, our Associate Dean for Student Development and the Director of the Counseling Center.
Thanks so much, Casey. And again, I'll offer my welcome to folks who are coming to the WPI campus. As Casey said, my name is Charlie Morse. My title is Associate Dean and Director of the Counseling Center. Can we move to the next slide, which is my slide? And I'll introduce our service to you. We were located at, here we are. We're located at 16 Einhorn Road, if you look down the bottom. We're student development and counseling, but everyone just calls us SDCC. As you'll learn, there's lots of acronyms on campus here. And most students, the best way to contact us is either by phone or at that email, sdcc@wpi. A lot of students reach out to us just to inquire about us and our services at that email address. It's a great way to start, just to make a connection with us. You see in this picture, we've been working virtually, and there we are in our Zoom kind of spaces, so to speak. That's about 6 of the 10 clinical folks that we have working in our center. We are a counseling center that is available for students. It's part of your student fees here, so it's free. We are working virtually at this point, like most counseling centers across the country at this point. But all other rules apply. It's completely confidential. Nobody's going to know what you're talking about, or even that you're talking about anything with a counselor here. The way that we start is with initial appointments that are the same day. We're easily accessible. It's as easy as just contacting us and letting us know you want to come in. And that initial appointment is just a conversation about what are you looking for from us, and how might we provide that? Because there's a lot of different ways that we work with students to support their well-being. The classic ways with counseling and psychotherapy. Typically that's short term and kind of pretty focused, solution focused, although we do connect with students over the course of a whole academic year and multiple years sometimes if they need that ongoing support. If it's going to be that kind of longer term ongoing support, typically that's biweekly, every other week in terms of therapy. But we offer other things to supplement the biweekly therapy, such as group therapy. We have general support groups that we run. We have LGBTQ+ support group. We have groups that want to help build coping skills, anxiety, DBT-oriented skills. We build out groups to the needs of students as they're coming in. And those groups typically do meet weekly. We also have a consulting psychiatrist who comes in once a week that we can easily connect students with. This would be a medical professional who can diagnose and make recommendations around the possibility of medication as part of folks' treatment. And we also have lots of connections with other prescribers in the local Worcester area, if that's your preference. We make referrals to other providers in the community as well. And there is quite a rich community of clinical folks within walking distance of campus, although again, most providers are providing services virtually at this point. And we'll, if the feeling is that you're going to need more frequent therapeutic support or more specialized therapeutic support than what we provide, we're going to stay there with you and kind of make that connection into someone in the community that can provide that support. And a big part of what we do is we are consultants to students, faculty, and staff and parents here on campus. Students often do come in and talk to us about concerns they might have about a roommate or a friend. We field calls from faculty and staff and parents when they're noticing things going on with their sons and daughters on campus that are concerning. And we become partners with those people here to kind of figure out what are some of the best next steps. Sometimes we're just advising student peers or faculty or parents just what might some good next steps be and how to kind of hang in there and provide ongoing support. Sometimes we're talking about how we might work with them to get their sons or daughters into our service and provide that kind of encouragement. And finally, we provide quite a bit of training and prevention work on campus with student groups and other campus partners. For instance, right now, we've been working with RAs who are arriving here early and providing mental health training for them. We have an innovative program that we created here called Student Support Network, which is a 6-week training for students who want to learn how to better support their friends. These kind of prevention programs help us get out on campus, help us get to be known on campus, and help to build a network of support throughout our campus community. So that's generally who we are, what we do. We're open Monday through Friday. It says 9 to 5, it's actually 8 to 5. Again, In order to connect with us, it's a simple call or an email just to saying, hey, I'm interested in learning more. If you search on us, you'll also find our website, which provides a lot more detail about who we are and what we do. So with that, I think I'll pass it along now to Lisa Perlman, who is our Director of Health Services.
Hi, I'm Lisa Perlman. Thanks, Charlie, for introducing me. And I am the Director of Health Services at WPI. Welcome, everyone. We're really excited that you'll be arriving soon. And I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the services we provide. So we are open for appointments from 9 to 4:30. It's pretty easy to schedule them. You just call that phone number that you see at the top of the slide, and we will schedule an appointment for you. We don't take walk-in appointments right now because that just isn't the safest way to do things anymore. So you will need to call for an appointment. And I'd really recommend that you call early in the day just to make sure that you can be seen quickly. We do also have some after hours and weekend coverage provided by Hahnemann Family Health Center of Worcester. And that would be for urgent matters, but there's somebody on call if you need something. In terms of the services we provide, really it's the kind of stuff you'd go to your normal healthcare provider for. So we see you if you're sick or you're injured. We help manage chronic illness stuff. We write prescriptions, we do blood work, we send off labs. We have some rapid testing capabilities, so you can get a rapid strep test or a rapid flu test in our office, and we'll get a result to you in a few minutes. And we also refer to specialists, like if you need physical therapy or something like that as needed. So really, if you have a health issue, really there's very little we can't help you take care of. We are staffed by a team of nurse practitioners and nurses and physicians every business day of the week. So Monday through Friday, we have a mixture of all of those people in the office. In terms of insurance, so you don't need to use your insurance to be seen at health services. We won't use it to see you for an appointment. If we need to prescribe a medication or we need to order a lab, we will use your insurance for those things. So your insurance will be utilized for things that happen outside of our office. If you need to be referred for physical therapy or something like that, they will also use your insurance. So you will certainly need access to your insurance information, though you won't need to use that to be seen by us in our office. We have made some changes because of COVID-19, and I just wanted to mention two here, but the biggest change is that we've really tried hard to divide sick students from well students. So we actually have two physical spaces that are different. We have a respiratory clinic where we'll be seeing anybody who has some kind of illness. And then across the street, we now have a wellness center where we'll be seeing people for just routine health needs. So if you have a sore throat, you'll go to one building, and if you have a sprained ankle, you'll go to another building, but we have the capability to take care of you well. We also will be doing a lot of telemedicine this year, which is totally new for us, but honestly, students seem to really like it. It's very convenient for them to just chat with us over their phone or their computer. And we really want to limit how long students are in these spaces. So we'll be doing a lot of telemedicine this year as well. We are going to be doing COVID-19 testing for symptomatic students or close contacts in our office. So that is definitely something we offer as well. If you have any questions, and I imagine there are lots of health concerns, feel free to email us at healthcenter@wpi.edu or call that number that you see on the slide. And I guess I'll just leave with a few parting thoughts. I have found this to be really helpful for students to know through the year. So the first thing is that you will not have your insurance card when you need it. And therefore, as soon as this is over, take a photo of the front of your insurance card and the back of your insurance card and store it in your phone, because you'll always have your phone, and it's really important to have that information when you need it. Secondly, if it's possible for you to get a flu shot before you arrive on campus, that would be helpful. The governor of Massachusetts has made it a mandate that every student is going to need a flu shot this year. So if you can get that taken care of before you come to campus, that will just make things easier for you. Also, if you can make sure to bring a little like cold care kit with a thermometer in it and some just over-the-counter medicine. This isn't the year to like ask your neighbors for their thermometer and Tylenol. So just have a little supply of your own if you can. And I'll leave you with just a last thought that the health of each of us really depends on the health of all of us. So if you can just really please do your part to stay safe and healthy this year, that will so benefit the campus. But we're really excited to see you all. And with that, I'm gonna pass this over to Amy Curran, who will be speaking about accessibility services at WPI. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Hi, everybody. Like Lisa said, my name is Amy Curran. I am the director of the Office of Accessibility Services here on campus. This is our nice general overview slide of what our office does and who we are. There's 5 of us that make up the office, and so you can see all of our pictures up top. We're located in Daniels Hall, which is convenient because we're right in the heart of campus, but there are some changes this year because due to COVID and distancing, that's similar to what other offices have said. We're encouraging students to reach out and make an appointment before stopping in. You can see that here is our email address and our telephone number, as well as our short URL that you can just plug into a web browser and be able to look up information about our office. We're open Monday through Friday, but regular standard business hours from 8 to 5. We do close for the lunch break though from 12 to 1. And we do every day have daily walk-in hours. These are pretty well, a lot of people come to them, which is really nice. They're from 2 to 3. The information is right on our website. It's just a Zoom link. Anyone can pop on and we kind of break people out into waiting rooms and breakout rooms to answer their questions. Either myself or my coworkers, Jess and Taylor, sometimes the 3 of us, sometimes one of us, someone's on there. So you can pop in and ask us questions. What we do on our office here is just a quick rundown of what our office does. We review and implement accommodations for WPI students on a permanent and temporary basis. What that means is that if you have a student or you are a student that had accommodations in middle school, high school, during your gap year, anytime during your life, if you would like accommodations put in place in a supportive role on campus, you would come to our office. So accommodations include academic accommodations, which are things such as extended time on exams or alternate format textbooks, housing accommodations, such as being close to an accessible bathroom or a dining service referral, or possibly a double or single occupancy room based on a disabling condition. Classroom accommodations include things such as classroom relocations, if you need to be in one closer to one that doesn't have stairs or closer to an elevator, plus accessible tables for students that have a hard time within the space and they need a different table to sit at. Another accommodation is just simply campus access. And this is where more of our temporary accommodations come into play. Students that have been injured on campus or have had surgery and need help with being close to elevator access, or helping us figure out a good way for them to get around campus. We do a lot of exam proctoring in our office. Normally, we proctor a lot of exams, hundreds of exams. I'm not sure how that's going to look this coming term, with some exams being moved online, some being turned into more projects, but we will still be here to proctor when the need arises. A lot of what we do in our office too is considered academic coaching. That's where students come and meet with us for support in how to read a syllabus, how to communicate effectively with a professor when you don't know how exactly you want to ask, how you want to ask what you need to find the answers for, how to work with group mates, how to manage your time and organization. So that's a lot of what we do with students when we meet with them. We're big on boosting self-advocacy skills. We want students to feel confident in reaching out to their peers, confident in reaching out to their professors. And so we're here to help kind of walk through scenarios and almost kind of role play, so students feel like they've got a sounding board before they just shoot off an email. And then we also spend a lot of time collaborating with campus partners. Sometimes their students come to us and ask us questions specific to counseling, and that's where we would refer to SDCC. Students sometimes ask us very specific questions about their classes that they're supposed to be in, and that's where we would refer them back to academic advising. I like to think of us as a place where students can come and ask the questions, and have us help them figure out where to go so they're not being sent in 5 different directions. And that's pretty much what our office does. We're here as a very supportive, we're nurturing, very nurturing office. We're here to support your student. If you have any questions or concerns about accommodations, please contact us. We're very good about returning emails and answering phone calls. We want to, to continue support, but it all depends on what kinds of documentation students have. And so we want to be able to have that conversation with families and students as well. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out. We're happy to hear from you. And like everyone else, the rest of my colleagues, we're excited to welcome you back onto campus. And with that, I will introduce Professor Tiffany Butler. She is the director of the Office of Multicultural Affairs. So I'll let her take over. I wish you all the best of luck in starting off successfully, and I'll see you on campus soon. All right, take care.
Thanks, Amy. Again, my name is Professor Tiffany Butler. I'm the director of the Office of Multicultural Affairs and also teaching professor in biomedical engineering. So my office is actually housed within the Division of Talent and Inclusion, but I work very closely with the student affairs folks on the call. So I'm happy to be here with you today. I am not a team all by myself. I have a wonderful group of colleagues who work with me in the Office of Multicultural Affairs, my assistant directors, as you can see on the screen. They work tirelessly to make sure that we are doing the absolute best for our students who are on campus, both undergraduate and grad. And so they are Rachel Hurd, pronouns she, her, hers, and Mia K. Fuller, pronouns they, them, theirs. And my pronouns are also she, her, hers. What we do in the Office of Multicultural Affairs, I guess as a general framework, we recognize that people are whole people, right? Made up of many salient identities or important identities. And so we work to foster a campus community that respects and celebrates diversity in all of its dimensions. And so we do that through a variety of things. And so we provide support, resources, tools through initiatives, programming, and services. And so ultimately, we're here to promote social justice, equity, multicultural awareness, and also to kind of educate folks and provide community for people as students are pursuing their academic, personal, and professional goals. And so our office, our physical space is located down on 19 and 20 Schussler Road. So it's just down the hill from Riley Hall, across like off of Institute Road. And so the Oasis House is 20 Schussler. It's kind of, yeah, I think it's on the left side of the street, just beyond the West Lot. And right across the street is the Collegiate Religious Center, of which we are both responsible for. And so we have programming there. Students can rent spaces, although this year our, not rent spaces, but reserve spaces, I would say. This year our rental or reservation space will be a little bit different because of COVID-19, but we'll have some more information about that, some videos that you can check out on our website. You can also connect with us via our email address, multiculturalaffairs@wpi.edu. That will come to the group of us, the team at the Office of Multicultural Affairs, or you can give us a call and schedule an appointment. And so we love connecting with people, and we're excited to be able to meet you and have you come onto campus and experience some of the programming, learn more about yourself as you are a whole person, not just learning a technical skill, but learning more about who you are and what makes you special and unique. Within our office, if you decide to come down to our physical space, we are located at 19 and 20 Schussler between the hours of 8 and 5 p.m. And so starting this year, we'll be taking that lunch hour break that between 12 and 1 p.m. will be closed, but between 8 and 5 will be available. At least one professional staff will be available in the house itself, but will also be available via the internet. So you can also find us on Zoom. Each of the professional staff will have office hours that will be on Zoom, and you can sign up for slots, or you can just pop in to our office hour to connect with us. We love spending time with all of our students, both undergrad and grad, and so we're really excited to be able to connect with you. And so again, if you want to connect with us, you can give us a call, you can email us, you can also pop into our office hours. And the best place to find out more information about what we're doing throughout the term or to connect with us in any kind of way is to visit our website listed there, wpi.edu/offices /office-multicultural-affairs. So I also think we can connect via the email address, but I hope that you spend a little bit of time getting to know us. If not through connecting with us in person, we can connect over Zoom. And I think with that, I will leave you and introduce the next person coming up, the Executive Director of the CDC, or the Career Development Center, Steve Copley.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to WPI. You've made an excellent choice. And at WPI, as Tiffany was pointing out, CDC stands for Career Development Center, not the other CDC. So we hope that students will stop by. We're on campus. Our office is in the Project Center, right next to the fountain in the middle of campus. Of course, we're also available virtually, and we'll be conducting individual advising with students through Zoom. You can email us with any questions. We want to be available and accessible to you throughout your career, not only starting today, but even throughout each year at WPI. After you graduate, our services are available to you. But for first-year students, some quick tips. Number one is activate your Handshake account. Handshake is our online recruiting system. And the sooner you activate your account and update your profile and upload your resume, the sooner you can move forward with searching for internships and co-ops and other opportunities. You might want a resume critique though, tip number 2, and we're happy to provide that to you virtually. You can email us your resume and we'll email you back with that feedback, absolutely. Or you can stop by the office, which is fine too. And third final tip for today is virtual career fairs in September. There are several days where we have dozens of employers who want to meet with students, and it's all conducted online. The dates, I think, are on the slide, starting September 17th, and we hope that all first-year students will consider joining us for at least one of those career fairs during that time. So welcome again, everybody. Thank you for taking this time with us, and I believe I'm handing it back to our Dean of Students, Greg Snoddy.
Thank you, Steve. That was well done. And I will just say to first-year students, please sign up for your Handshake account and activate that, because you have the possibilities of getting internships and co-ops for next summer, but you have to take the first step. We have it happen every year where students actually are successful there. So hopefully you'll leverage that opportunity. Christine, do we have any questions that we might want to speak to the group here?
We have a few, and really just want to thank everybody for their support and answering questions in real time. That was great. Casey, I think this one would be for you. There was a question, and I'm sorry if I missed a response, about the micro fridge, knowing that the rentals are no longer available. Can you just clarify what can be brought?
Yeah, this is a new piece of information. So WPI was so excited about micro fridges, we sold them out. So they are working on getting new stock so that they can take future rentals and deliver them post arrival. But for right now, they're sold out. So what we're doing about that is if a student needs to bring their own mini fridge and microwave, we will certainly make allowances to that with the red carts and let a second trip for their microwave and mini fridge. And if you need to ship that, you can do that as well, because I think that's what the person in the chat was asking about. And I believe there was a response about how mail works. So you can certainly do that as well. But what we do encourage is that the students speak with their roommates, because if you're in a double room and there's a micro fridge already rented by your roommate, you are able to share that piece of equipment. And we actually encourage that. So those are the best options given the situation. And I guess, way to go, everyone. We sold them right out. So they're working on it, but that's my update.
Thanks, Casey. There was a question that came to me, but I think it would definitely be applicable and interesting for the whole group. Could someone share, maybe this is for Greg, just what study space on campus might look like? Maybe, for example, the library, are we going to need reservations, or what will that look like for students?
I think, Christine, the library is actually working on an app where they can monitor how many people are in and are there open seats or not. I will tell you that we're working on trying to make sure that classrooms and labs are open after hours so that students can study as appropriate. We've set up a couple tents on the quad that actually are designed to facilitate student studying outside. And in addition, just we're going to be asking students to get out of your room to study, but at the same time, we're going to want students to be in their rooms to study. So how do you balance that? It's a hard quandary for us, but we are trying to find those venues where students can essentially work on their academics, but be successful doing so.
Thank you. There was a question also in the chat about if folks did not receive a pre-move-in email. There should have been an email, at least for orientation, that went out to non-residential students as well. So if there is a question or a concern, or if there is a different email that you might be referring to, if you want to send me a direct message, I'm happy to look into that and try to find out some more information.
I would just share too, the pre-arrival move-in message went out today, and if that's what's being referenced there, please just email residential services, and I put that in the chat.
Great, thank you. And Casey, do suites and founders have fridges and microwaves, or would they need to be brought?
Yeah, so Founders Hall has apartment-sized refrigerators and microwaves provided, and so you don't need to bring a mini fridge and microwave. And you certainly can bring your own mini fridge, but there is a microwave there in the suite. And then Hampton Inn also has a mini fridge and microwave provided. So if you're assigned to Founders or the Hampton Inn and you didn't get a micro fridge through the company, you could probably get away with not needing to bring your own.
Okay, and stay unmuted there, Casey. If your roommate decided to go online, can you talk about the process of, should that student expect a roommate at some point in time?
Yeah, so for right now, what we're working through is how many folks are being remote versus coming to campus. And we do have students who are making that decision even today. And I suspect we will have that decision being made leading up to move-in. And so for the immediate future, unless there is a dire situation, you will not have a new roommate. However, as students decide what they're doing for B term, C term, and D term, you may end up with a roommate. We also do have the ability, if we have to move you for any reason, because we need to consolidate space, because we need the space for an emergency, those are all things we can do and we have done in the past. It's not that common, but just to give that as a heads up, particularly because none of us have ever done this before. And certainly working through doing university housing while having a pandemic on our hands is a little different. And so please bear with us, but for the most part, you would not get a new roommate, and it wouldn't be until B term if it was to happen, but it could happen. So I don't want to guarantee that it won't happen. It could happen for A term, but the chances are small.
Great, thank you. There's also a question in the chat about knowing that the governor is requiring flu shots. Is there a deadline that those would need to be received by?
Yeah, I can speak to that. Or April, you were about to speak.
I was actually. I just got notification that the deadline is December 31st of this year.
Great. For our health services team or residential services team as well, if students are coming to join us in the spring, will they also be receiving a welcome kit? They're just wondering what supplies they would need to come to campus with.
Are we talking about the welcome kit that Casey is handing out for residential services, residential students, do you think?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
So I can speak to that, and then I will speak to a few other things that have just appeared in the chat, if that is okay. So the welcome kit is going to include 4 face coverings. And this is for residential students as they check in. 4 face coverings, a thermometer, some hand sanitizer, your bathroom pass, for lack of a better word. We have a new bathroom occupancy management system that we're using this year. So you'll have that in there. You will have a Sharpie. You will have a pin that says, I wear my face covering for. And I don't think Dean Snoddy's wearing his today, but he has been wearing it. Oh, he has it. He's going to show it. So he wears his face covering for his mom, I believe it says on his pin, but that will be in there. And you will also get your NSO schedule at check-in as well, as a part of the materials you're handed. So those are all the things there. I see someone in the chat asking about a go bag. So yes, That was in the email today. That actually has been on our website under what to bring over the course of the whole summer. That information has been available, but we noticed that many people didn't see it. So we wanted to call attention to it today in our message. I don't know if Lisa wants to jump in because Lisa provided the content for the go bag and what should be included to talk a little bit more about that. But we really want students to be prepared in the event that they do need to be isolated. So Lisa, take it away.
Yeah, so this is just to have you ready to go if need be to, so there's a list of exactly what you're gonna need to have in your go bag, and you just wanna have that bag kind of packed and ready in case, but if you were to become ill, let's say, and you were to make an appointment at health services because you're coughing and you have a fever, we would ask you to bring your go bag with you to health services, and then we would probably do some testing and we do an evaluation. And if we decide that we need you to go into isolation, we would have a van transport you from health services directly into an isolation space. And therefore you would have your go bag, which has all of your essentials, including like your prescription medications and your computer and some clothing changes and toiletries. I won't go through the whole list for you, but you'll just kind of be really able to move kind of quickly straight from health services to a different space. So that's what the go bag is. And in the world we're living in right now, everybody just kind of has to be ready and flexible. So we're just trying to help you get that ready before you become ill or something like that.
Christine,
Thanks,
maybe
Lisa.
I want to be cognizant of time.
I have one final question if we want. And I can even address this. So there was a question in the chat about can students go to the bookstore to buy their textbooks? And the answer to that is yes. They can also purchase their books online. And so there's options both in person and online for students. So we would encourage them to do that to make sure that they're ready for the start of classes. Unless there's something else that we should add there that I might have forgotten.
So Casey, I'm going to call on you because there's numerous questions with regards to laundry service and if you can do those, and then Christine, why don't we
Sure.
close and then.
So for the laundry service, if your student is assigned to Morgan, Stoddard, Riley Hall, which is Sanford Riley, or the Hampton Inn, the ENR laundry service for doing laundry here at WPI is mandatory. Students don't have to do their laundry with ENR service. So I've had some parents ask me, can I pick up my son or daughter's laundry and do it at home for them and bring it back? Sure, if that's what you would like to do, you can do that. But the only service available to them to do laundry in those 4 residence halls is through ENR laundry service. The reason for this is we've de-densified the campus and looked at our facilities and services. Those buildings do not have their own laundry rooms. And so we want to make sure that students are doing laundry in a way that is socially distant and safe, and having 800 people share a laundry room is not a way to do that right now. So I did explain to a parent recently the cost comparison. And so there are some different things that go into that. There is a little bit of sticker shock for folks, and we know that. But when you do out how much laundry is done over the course of an academic year, not needing to buy detergent, and often in our dryers on campus, a double dryer needs to be run when you're doing one load, it is fairly comparable in cost. And so I just want to explain all that because when you see the cost up front, it looks a little sticker shocky. But to make this work and to be able to have the most safe environment possible, this was the best service we could come up with for our students for laundry where there is no laundry room.
Perfect. Thanks, Casey. The one thing I will say, I think we got to pretty much all of the questions, but if there are some questions that we missed, if you could either share your question again with your email address or just provide your email address to the chat, we'll try to make sure that we get those responses back to you in a timely manner. And Greg, I don't know if there's any closing comments that you would like to share.
The only thing I would say, Christine, is for students and parents, one, thank you for trusting us to open and for putting your trust in us to take care of your sons and daughters. We, across the screen, the people you spoke to today and had interactions with, probably 300 years of higher ed experience here. Many of us have been here for a long time. And so many of us have college kids too. So you can please have confidence in us to do a good job and take care of them. You've made a good choice. This is a good institution. Our students really are good, ladies and gentlemen. And they only get better over the course of 4 years. That's what's exciting, because we get to see them as they come in at 18-year-olds, and then over the course of 4 years, they just change so dynamically. It's just wonderful. And then 4 years from now, which will go by very quickly, by the way, they'll be walking across the stage, getting their diploma, and we're just giddy about the fact that they're going to be doing that. So having said that, all I can say is thank you very much, and we look forward to your arrival next week, actually. And classes start on the 31st, by the way, of August. So look forward to it. Thank you very much.